This is a 10 News election update.
Good evening, I'm Lindsay Pena.
And I'm Brian Schlonsky with your 10 News election update. The polls set to close in just 1 hour with San Diego on track for a big voter turnout.
Yeah, let's get right to 10 News reporter Anthony Perret.
And I'm Brian
He's at the
Schlonsky with your 10 News election
People have been
update.
waiting
The polls set to close in just 1 hour with
election
San Diego
update.
on track for a big voter turnout.
Yeah, let's get right to 10 News reporter.
Yeah, we're over here
Perret.
live at the
Brian
registrar's office. People getting in line right now expecting a 3-hour wait. Now, this is the front of the line. There's still a massive amount of people. Yeah, we're over here live at the registrar's office. People getting in line right now expecting a 3-hour wait now line, and then people are able to walk inside to finally vote. I want to walk you around this direction, though, because over here you can see just more people waiting in line, the hundreds of people that have been waiting in line for hours now. You can go ahead and walk. You can see that it wraps around, because over here you can see just the registrar's office here, and the people that have been waiting in line for hours now. You can go ahead and walk. You can see that it wraps around early mail-in numbers and just registration numbers, more so than the past midterm elections. Now, part of the reason also contributing to these long lines is same-day voting and conditional voter registration. You can again see just people wrapping around the second corner of the line here like it was Black Friday over here. That's the type of lines that we're seeing. The good news is that if you are in line by 8 p.m., around the second corner of the line here like it was Black Friday, so you just have to make it in line by 8 o'clock and you'll be allowed to vote. The good news is that if you are in line by 8 p.m., around the second corner of the line.
All right, Anthony, thank you. Now let's get to the latest on the big national races. We've been watching everything from the House and the Senate, Democrats trying to take control of both of those. Let's take you to the map now so you can see what's going on right now, starting here. Big national races. Well, that's not the right map, but we're talking about the House. % chance of keeping control in the Senate, but we're still watching those two big states, Texas and Florida. You see on the map, neither one of them have swung yet, but both very close kind of examples of every vote counts. Still watching those two big states, Texas and Florida. You see on the map, neither one of them have swung yet, but both very close kind of examples of
here
every
with
vote
us again
counts.
tonight. Very patriotic. Thank you for being here.
Thank you so much. Yes, absolutely.
All right, so we were talking a little bit earlier about the Trump effect, as you called it. Explain to people exactly what that is and what it's doing to this election right now.
I suppose there's a number of different ways you can define the Trump effect, but in relation to the midterms, what we are seeing is we are really seeing enthusiasm, bipartisan passion is what I've been calling it. You have this barnstorming that the president has done over the last 10 days, and it really has energized both Republicans and Democrats. It's been more about him than it has about the candidates he's been out there to support. And the reason for that is the rhetoric that he uses, the language, the issues, the character, everything that he says and does is about perhaps re-election 2020. Sometimes people joke that they're hoping that he remembers to mention the candidate. But here's why the Trump effect is so important on both sides. Is it not only has energized Republicans, not new Republicans, independents, undecideds, but it's also energized Democrats to get out and rebut some of the rhetoric on immigration. They want to come out and talk about health care, right? That the president doesn't think the economy is important. He wants to talk about things that make people fearful. Those are some of the disagreements that are generating people getting to the polls. No matter who you are, what you believe, it's getting people off the couch and into the ballot box. So this is exactly what both sides want.
Which leads us directly into our next question. People turning out in record numbers.
Record numbers.
And a lot of young people out as well. What do you think is behind that?
I'll tell you, I am so impressed with young people today. They're savvy. They are serious. They want to make sure that it's a great country and they're going to do everything they can. They are actually more interested than I've ever seen before. And it's one of those things where the president is both a blessing and a curse in terms of his impact on both sides. But young people also, they're picking up the torch for both Democrats and Republicans. And they are a very strong voice. They're tech savvy. They know how to really energize their friends because they're able to connect both old school and off and online. And I think they're really going to have an impact. And boy, tomorrow morning, we're going to see exactly how much of an impact they're going to have.
Yep, a lot to talk about. Wendy Patrick is going to be sticking around with us. We'll get back to you in a little while. But now we want to check in with the race for the 50th Congressional District. Democrat Amar Campa-Najjar trying to unseat incumbent Republican Duncan Hunter. Our 10 News reporter Jennifer Kasner is live at Campa-Najjar's Escondido headquarters. Jennifer, what's going on over there?
Thank you so much, Jill, and have a great vacation.
Well, Lindsay, Campa-Najjar is planning to arrive here in less than 30 minutes. And look at what's going on behind me. This table full of volunteers, this whole room full of volunteers making last-minute phone calls to potential voters saying, get out there, cast your vote for Amar Campa-Najjar. They said they will be doing this until 7:59, right before the polls close. There's been a lot of excitement in this room from San Diegans who are ready for a Democrat to win a seat in California's 50th district, which has historically been red and dominated for decades by the Duncan Hunter family. 29-year-old progressive Amar Campa-Najjar is a businessman from El Cajon who previously served in the Obama administration. He spent a lot of this race defending himself against attacks from incumbent Duncan Hunter, who unleashed political ads implying that Campa-Najjar is a security threat because of his Palestinian family history. But the gap between these two opponents continues to tighten. Campa-Najjar has gained 6 percentage points in the past 2 months. Again, he is expected to arrive here at 7:30 p.m. We're told he is going to do an interview with us. He's going to bounce around to a couple of other locations before ending the night at Golden Hall downtown. Reporting live from Escondido, Jennifer Kasner, 10 News.
And we'll be looking forward to hearing from him. Thank you, Jennifer. Sticking now with that big race in the 50th. Let's send it over to 10 News reporter Melissa Macia. She is live for us now at the U.S. Grant Hotel with more on Duncan Hunter. Melissa.
Hey, good evening, guys. We are live here at the U.S. Grant. A lot of Republicans gathering here tonight, but one person not expected to be here is Congressman Duncan Hunter. He is not expected to make any public appearances tonight, according to his spokesman. Of course, he is facing a federal indictment accused of spending $250,000 of campaign money on personal expenses. Originally, he was thought to be a lock for re-election before his legal issues. Our most recent poll shows that his lead has shrunk to about 3 percentage points, with still 8% undecided. Of course, we will wait and see what happens in a region that typically votes Republican. Now, John Cox, another race that many people are watching, the Republican candidate for governor. He just arrived here at the U.S. Grant. We did get video of him earlier this morning meeting with Diane Harkey supporters. Harkey is running for Darrell Issa's seat. Now, he has trailed in the polls, but says he is cautiously optimistic. Housing and repealing the gas tax have been priorities for him. So it is expected to be a very busy night here at the U.S. Grant. I will be here all evening giving you updates on 10 News. Reporting live at the U.S. Grant in downtown, Melissa Macia, back to you.
All right, thanks, Melissa. And now we're going to go to 10 News reporter Michael Chen. He is live at the Democratic headquarters with more on the governor's race and Gavin Newsom. Michael.
Well, this is the Hotel Republic, where the party dubbed Blue Wave 2018 set to get underway at about 8:30. And at the crest of that potential wave is, of course, the governor's race. Two-term Lieutenant Governor Gavin Newsom, buoyed by a healthy lead in the polls, voted this morning with his family in his hometown of Larkspur in Marin County. He won't be coming down to San Diego, but will head to a watch party in downtown Los Angeles later tonight. He is bidding to become the first Democrat to succeed another Democrat as governor of California in nearly 130 years. Now, he did appear at San Diego State in the last stop of his bus tour last week and at an appearance with Governor Jerry Brown last night. Newsom vowing to, quote, build on Governor Brown's extraordinary legacy. We are hours away from finding out if Newsom will get that opportunity. Reporting live downtown, Michael Chen, 10 News.
Yeah, we'll have to wait and see. Thank you, Michael. Now to the congressional race for the 49th District. That is the seat formerly held by Republican Congressman Darrell Issa. We have 10 News reporter Jeff Lasky live for us now in Vista at the headquarters of Republican candidate Diane Harkey. How's it going?
Yeah, a lot of folks here feel like they might have been written off a little bit too early. In fact, right now, they are still here working the phones, trying to get as many people to the polls as they can with just about 49 minutes left, trying to get as many people out to vote. Now, there was a lot of talk earlier in the day because the man who currently holds the seat, Darrell Issa, who helped convince Diane Harkey to run, well, he went on Fox News and he actually had some comments leading everyone who was listening to believe that he'd thrown in the towel and believe that Diane Harkey was going to lose in this race. But when I had a chance to talk to her here in the Vista headquarters, she said that that was not going to be the case.
Congressman Issa doesn't know the district, and you know what? That's a Dewey Truman moment. We've had those before, and that was just another Dewey Truman moment. I think he was. It was unfortunate for him to say that because I don't think he understands what's going on the ground. But we will, like I said, it will all work out.
You can sense the frustration there. In fact, as we had reported several weeks ago, the National Republican Party cut back their funding to help out in this race. Diane Harkey said that she wished she had a little bit more money to be able to go on the attack, but she thinks it's going to be a very close race, and that's why they're working the phones here right up until 8 o'clock. Live in Vista, Jeff Lasky, 10 News.
All right, thanks for that update, Jeff. And we want to head now to 10 News reporter Adam Rakusin, who's live in Del Mar. He's following Harkey's opponent, the Democratic hopeful Mike Levin. What's going on over there, Adam?
Yeah, let's call this the calm before the storm in Del Mar. This is where all the action is going to take place. There's just not a whole lot of it going on right now. They've got the food set up, the drink station set up, tables for everyone that's going to come through. The only issue is the doors are still closed. They don't open for at least another hour. But as you heard Jeff talking about working the phones, the Levin campaign is also still working the phones. We caught up with Mike Levin a little earlier this afternoon. He was making phone calls himself at the headquarters in Solana Beach. He was trying to get those last-minute votes. There were also supporters still in the office making phone calls. One group of people that we ran into said they drove from Los Angeles to be part of this campaign. If Levin comes out on top tonight, he'll be the first Democrat to take this seat in more than a decade. Early polls, including our own 10 News poll, show Levin with a slight lead, although he told me he's not looking at the polls, only the votes that come in, and it's important for everyone to get out and support him. Levin also had some Hollywood star power that showed up a little earlier today. Alyssa Milano was in Vista as they protested outside of Darrell Issa's office. So a little bit longer than an hour until the doors open here. They're hoping for a big night. They're hoping for a good night. We'll let you know as soon as we see Mike Levin. Reporting live in Del Mar, Adam Rakusin, 10 News.
We know you will. Thank you, Adam. We are also keeping a close eye on the battle over the future of the Mission Valley Stadium site. Matt Boone live for us at the U.S. Grant Hotel with a closer look at Measure G, also known as SDSU West.
Brian, yeah, it's a party down here in the lobby of the U.S. Grant Hotel. That SDSU West Initiative Party will be downstairs. That's about to start shortly as they watch those numbers come in when the polls close at 8 o'clock. But we do have some of those renderings that they've shared during part of this process that show what it could look like, although the exact plans of the SDSU West plan are not yet finalized. That will have to go through several rounds of environmental and public comment review. But they have proposed a stadium there, as well as about 4,500 units of housing, in addition to some office, commercial, and educational spaces. Members of the Yes on G campaign are calling it a once-in-a-generation opportunity to significantly expand the campus, and they argue this could have huge financial benefits for the entire region. Oh, I'm sorry. So they were telling us earlier that this could have a huge economic impact because of the educated workers and having those people who come to San Diego, they're educated here, and then they go out into the workforce, start their own businesses, pay their own taxes. That's one of the big arguments they're making. although there's an entire other measure, as you know, the Soccer City initiative, and that is also on the ballot, and that could challenge this on the polls. It's two different options for voters, and we're going to have more on that coming up. Live at the U.S. Grant, Matt Boone, 10 News.
All right, and as Matt said, there is a challenge to that initiative. We go now to 10 News reporter Travis Rice for a look at the competing ballot proposal Measure E, also known as Soccer City. Travis.
Hey, good evening. We're here at East Village Tavern and Bowl, which is kind of serving as the official election watch party for Measure E. Now, the supporters of Measure E, the soccer citizens, if you will, are hoping that the prospect of a soccer team and a new soccer stadium will be enough to sell Measure E to voters. Now, that measure will call for the construction of a new stadium, a 23,000-person stadium where SDCCU Stadium currently stands. Also, there would be a construction of a mixed-use sort of development, which would be a commercial property as well as housing, and a similar entertainment sports district to that of, let's say, LA Live in downtown Los Angeles. Now, you may remember Soccer City did have a falling out with SDSU last year about the details of their plan. That's why there are two separate plans, but we just spoke to some of the people here at Soccer City, and they're telling us they are very optimistic. They do think it's going to be a long night because they think there's going to be a late push for Soccer City, despite earlier polls a couple weeks ago indicating that Measure G was favored. Live in downtown, Travis Rice, 10 News.
All right, thanks for that update, Travis. And be sure to stay with 10 News and ABC News for the most comprehensive election coverage. We'll have the first results after our polls close at 8 p.m., along with live results at the bottom of your screen throughout the night.
Join us at 10 p.m. for a 10 News election special, and we'll have all the breaking developments right here on 10 News at 11.